money towards the luxury tax.
Well,
And
they
I
were
think
hard capped too, right?
they were hard capped. They were $12,000 before this week started. So they were really restricted as far as what they were able to do here. And yeah, I don't get it. I mean, hey, great for Miami, and Andy Ellsberg and Pat Riley are as good as it comes. But if you're Memphis, basically you took on Justice Winslow, who had been out 150 games since he's come into the league, at the cost of $28 million of Dion Waiters and James Johnson, and basically just eliminated you from the summer of 2020 when it becomes with cap space.
Yeah, it's amazing. You said during the break it was a Jedi mind trick. That could possibly be what happened. So I don't know. We'll have to look into that and whether there are NBA rules against Jedi mind tricks. If there's not, then Pat Riley and Andy have obviously figured out a way around that. I want to ask you about this D'Angelo Russell, Andrew Wiggins trade that we've been talking about. How does this help the Warriors financially? Because that's an aspect I think that a lot of people haven't seen yet.
Well, it helps them now and it helps them in the future. The Wiggins for Russell swap is basically cap neutral. Both players are on max contract. There's about a $100,000 difference. But what Golden State was able to do is they traded Jacob Evans and Omari Spellman to Minnesota, and they went under the luxury tax. And that's important for next year because they are not a repeater tax. They will be in a luxury tax next year, but instead of paying a $85 million tax bill, now it's going to be probably around $55 million. So there is significant savings. Remember, we talked about Golden State being in a tax before KD went to Brooklyn, that it was probably going to be $160, $170 million tax bill. So they go under the tax this year. They save about $30 to $35 million for 2020, 2021.
See, that shows us, Bobby, billionaires, they're just like us. They want to save money and clip coupons, too. It's just that we want to save like 30 cents at the grocery store checkout, and they want to save $30 million. It's lovely.
Billionaires don't like writing million-dollar checks, Rachel.
There we go. Bobby, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to hearing from you more throughout up to the deadline and beyond. Thank you. All right, before we move on, we have another trade, so... Yeah. Scalabissiere going from Portland to Atlanta for cash considerations. Very interesting to watch Portland. The machinations, we will watch them over the next 2 hours because, again, when stuff like this happens, sometimes it is a precursor to something else. And Damian Lillard certainly is wanting to go for it this year. All right. Presented by Kia, I want to shift gears to the teams that play across the street from our studios here in Los Angeles. Ramona, I'm going to start with you. You just tweeted this out. And look who we have, Ramona Shelburne. It's like one of those things like broadcast news where they say it in the ear and then the person speaks. Ramona tweets, and then she magically appears on your TV to explain the tweet. It's fantastic. You said pretty epic battle going on right now between the Lakers and Clippers. Explain what's happening and the stakes in the negotiations.
So this has been happening now since the summer, okay, where the Lakers and Clippers have been competing for players. Marcus Morris is the latest player that they've both been trying to compete to land. And I think both of them see this as much as wanting to acquire Marcus Morris from the Knicks as keeping him away from the other, okay? So it's offense and defense.
Yes.
And, the Knicks conversation with the Lakers have begun and ended with Kyle Kuzma. They want him in any deal. And the Lakers have kind of taken their time deciding whether they want to put Kuzma in a deal. Right as I walked onto your set, I got a call. I think you saw me talking to somebody. I think even at this late hour, they don't seem inclined to put Kuzma in the deal. It seems that Marcus Morris and the Knicks are pivoting towards the Clippers on this. But again, it's a late hour. Nothing's done yet. And so now that you're the Lakers and if you feel like it's pivoting the other direction, do you then go come back around? So this is fluid. I think both teams right now are looking at the buyout market and whether or not putting the players that they're trying to keep out of this deal is worth holding on to them, and then who's going to be available on the buyout market.
Guess who's not going to be available on the buyout market? Andre Iguodala. We know that now. Right. What do you think, Matt, of Marcus Morris going to either one of these teams? And if you were the Lakers, would you make that swap, Kyle Kuzma, Marcus Morris, not only to get Marcus Morris, but to play keep away from the Clippers?
It's interesting. I mean, what other sport is this exciting mid-season? Like, this is crazy. Like, this is like a reality TV show in the middle.
And it's happening right now for the next couple hours on this television.
Right. It's going to be an interesting move. Also, the buyout market holds Darren Collison. You know,
That's
so
right.
if
Does
the
it, though?
Yeah.
Do we know that yet?
I've talked to people close to
Ooh,
him. And I
Matt Barnes with sources.
And I think he's pretty close. Pretty good idea he's coming back. But like I said, we lost out. Both teams lost out on Andre.
Yep.
I talked to Andre 2 weeks ago at ESPN in New York, and he said the Lakers and Clippers were most likely his destination. So
Yep.
for him to go to Miami, great for him. Morris is an interesting piece, a great piece guy that can, you know, get his own shot, knock down shots consistently, a tough guy, someone you love to have on your team. If he goes to the Clippers, that's definitely going to help their second unit, and down the stretch, he could probably be someone you see playing. So it's cat and mouse. The Lakers have been high on Kuzma. That's why he didn't go this past offseason. And I really think Kuzma's starting to find his way. We've talked a lot because he told me one thing he told me early in the season was it's so hard to lose the minutes he lost and then the touches he lost. And he's trying to reinvent himself and try to figure out how do I still fit in this grand scheme of things. And what I continue to tell him is you have two selfless superstars.
Yeah.
So get energy points, cut, rebound, transition. Offensive glass, knock down the shots when they're given to you. So I really think he's starting to find his footing, and I think the Lakers possibly see that. So that's why they're probably it's a little hard for them to come up off him because he is such a young, promising talent.
And he's gotten a good contract, and he's an asset
Correct.
going forward. So it's
And they don't have many of those.
Yes.
Right? If you're the Lakers, there are not many ways to improve your team right now, except maybe on the buyout market. Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso is another player that teams call about, ask about.
There was some reporting yesterday that there were phone calls just going into the Lakers, not going out, going into the Lakers on Alex Caruso. And I saw such a reaction from the Lakers fan base. It was like you had said that they were thinking about trading LeBron or AD.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the level of popularity that Alex Caruso has. But, like, in terms of players that other teams covet or have value for, it's Kyle Kuzma, number one, and then Alex Caruso, okay? And I don't think they're in a place right now where they feel like, is this really the deal that they want to do? And are there better opportunities or other opportunities on the buyout market coming up? Because they do have a couple of options. Darren Collison, I think, my understanding, he's been working out. He wants to make a decision next week. One, if he's going to come back, and two, which team he's going to do.
I might just call him during the break.
Yeah, you might.
Right?
Just say,
I was
hey,
gonna
we
say,
need confirmation.
Marcus Morris is an
Matt,
interesting guy.
Full reporting here. You're our other
there you go.
newsbreaker here, in
There you go.
addition to Ramona, Brian, Woj, and Bobby. Come on.
Well, I mean, look, Marcus Morris is an interesting guy, even just defensively, because this is not just playing keep away from the other, it's also defense, okay? If you're looking at if you're the Clippers, the Lakers' biggest strength is in their front court with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Marcus Morris helps in that post defense, and he's a tough guy. Scott Perry, the general manager of the Knicks, he still is,
right?
Okay, handling these negotiations, has compared Marcus Morris in conversations with both the Lakers and the Clippers to Rasheed Wallace. When he was in Detroit, Rasheed Wallace was a pickup that they added. Now, we don't want to put them in the same senses as players.
Well, Scott Perry is going to try to compare
in terms of toughness and in terms of adding someone to a
Patrick
team.
Ewing and everyone else. What about, though, his toughness? What
I love it.
What kind of thing do you think Marcus Morris could bring to a Lakers team?
He's a dog. You know, he's a dog, and I think that's what Boogie was going to give them. You know, like I said, you don't want to compare their talents. They're different type of players, but you need another dog. They got a bunch of good players who are nice. They need some dogs out there. So I think Marcus Morris would have been someone that could definitely bring the dog aspect to that team. But like I said, if you let him go to the Clippers, like you said, it's an offense and defensive game. You let him go down the hallway, now you're adding another dog to a kennel full of dogs.
Yep.
You know, so it's going to be an interesting thing. But also, the Lakers kind of feel like they have what it takes to win a championship right now. So why do anything really drastic? We saw the trade deadline last year is where this team fell apart with all the talking, rumors, who's gone, who's up. So I think they're trying to avoid that this year. So like I said, they don't really want to ruffle the feathers too much because they really feel like they have enough to win. But if they can get Darren Collison on a buyout, I think that would be the cherry on top.
Yeah, but here's the other factor with the Lakers. LeBron James is 35 years old.
They don't have to
So you can sit there and say, hey, let's wait. Let's hold on to Kuzma. That's our only asset going forward, X, Y, and Z. Maybe the Clippers take it this year. We'll go for it next year. He's 35. He will be 36 next year. And that clock is ticking over Rob Pelinka the entire time. I think that is also a factor here. We will find out because it's only an hour left until the trade deadline. Keep it here. What are the Lakers and Clippers going to do? What are the Knicks going to do? Some of the biggest franchises in the league are involved as we get down to it. First, though, here's a special trade deadline distant replay. This is from 2008 when the Lakers got Pau Gasol. Take a look. Pivotal.
Nearly 40 years ago.